I'm Father Bryan Brooks, the pastor of the Church of St. Benedict in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And I'm here to do hopefully a brief review of a series that people have been talking now about for several months called The Chosen. I recently watched all 8 episodes via YouTube, and it's a dramatization of the Jesus story of the Gospels. And I've seen all 8 episodes of the first season. This is a multi-season project, I think stretching over at least 3 years. And I can just simply say it is quite good. I've had people actually now for some time saying, well, Father, you got to see this. I saw this. You check it out. A couple of things that are unique about it. One, kind of the backstory of this, is that it's not being produced by a major Hollywood studio. It's basically produced by a group of Christians who are getting the money through crowdsourcing, which means that you have a large number of people give a little bit of amount of money each in order to produce the series. I think like 300,000 people plus right now are doing that. So it's not connected to, it's not on major television networks. It's not a big premiere in the theaters. Rather, you can watch it through an app. VidAngel, I think, is the name of the company, in which you can have that app, and then you can transfer it to your television if you want. I simply went to YouTube and watched it on my iPad. It premiered I think last March, right as COVID was coming out, and the producers of the series made a decision to just put it out there for free for anyone who wants to watch it, and it's been translated into multiple languages. So it's kind of the background of it. Second is that you probably will not see hardly anybody who plays in it that you've probably seen them before. I think there's one person, the man who plays Nicodemus. I recognize him as a character actor from other performances. But also, by the way, the woman who plays Mary Magdalene, Elizabeth Tabish, grew up in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Graduated of Stillwater High School and a graduate of Oklahoma State University. So for all the Cowboy fans, pistols firing, okay, go yay Pokes. Proof again, all roads go through Oklahoma sooner or later. So another thing about the Chosen way, the way it's telling the story, is it's being told as a series. It's not being told as like a 2-hour-long movie. They can condense everything down, and we're just focusing maybe on the passion or this aspect or that aspect of the life of Christ. Or even more so than the miniseries that came out in the late 1970s, Jesus of Nazareth, which I grew up in, which by the way still holds up quite good. That was like a 6 or 7 hour long miniseries about the life of Jesus. This is going to be a 3-year-long series with about, I think, 7-8 episodes each. Each episode lasts about 45 minutes to an hour. Now, on YouTube, you watch the episodes beforehand. The director comes out and he talks a little bit about it, and then after the episode, he interviews one of the cast members, and he tells you a little bit more of the background of what's going on, and also the why they're making the series. It's an act of faith. Often we as Christians we complain about how our story is not being told, or why didn't somebody in Hollywood make a good story? Well, the way The Chosen is being produced and also being put out to us, we don't need Hollywood. We can tell our story. We don't have to rely on someone else to tell that story for us. So I think it's very also a decentralized way of storytelling, particularly for the life of Jesus. A lot of the shots in it are kind of, again, not the big spectacle, but you're like in a street, you're in a room or something like that. So kind of more of an intimate gathering. And also, there's a lot of backstory. If each one of the disciples has a backstory. Now, remember, there's lots of things in the Gospels that we're not given the details. We don't know, for example, the name of Simon Peter's wife. What's in the Gospels are what's necessary for our salvation, and apparently that's not necessary for our salvation, knowing her name. However, in the series The Chosen, she has a name, Eden, and so you have a little more about the background between Simon Peter and his wife. And so each of the disciples has a backstory. The way the director put it, he said, usually you see the Jesus narrative, Jesus story, the disciples have 3 personalities. Simon Peter, Judas, and the other 10 kind of all lumped in together. But this is different. It's taking the time to tell us who they are and where they're from, how they met Jesus. Interesting about Mary Magdalene, played by Elizabeth Tabish, is the first time I can remember seeing Mary Magdalene being shown as suffering from demonic possession. Usually we don't see that, but we know that from the Gospels themselves, that Christ healed her of this affliction, and then she follows him. What usually is happening is somebody encounters Jesus, they meet him, and then they go and they tells somebody else, or somebody else's, plural, and they bring them to meet Jesus as well. So you have this evangelization that's going on. The way Jesus portrayed is he's quite human, but also he knows who he is. He knows his true self, his divine self. He's not this distant character. He's not this kind of countercultural guru, which kind of grew up on some images of Jesus like that from my generation. He's a man of courage, but also a man of great compassion and great love. And also, he's got a sense of humor. For one example, one of the episodes is the wedding feast at Cana, and turning water and wine. You see people dancing at the wedding. And there's a joke going on about how Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, they say he dances like he's like a donkey on hot coals or something like that. So after Jesus changed the water into wine, the first of his signs or miracles in John's Gospel, the joke is somebody says, "Oh, no, you did that. Can you make him dance better?" And Jesus says, "I'm sorry, there are some things even I can't do." So you've got Jesus, the sense of humor, that sort of thing. So it's been very interesting how they're telling the story. I highly recommend it. If you can watch it as a family. You can watch individually. You can use your television with the app and so on, or just on YouTube. The second season right now is in production, and so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. You can definitely tell also that something else I noticed was everybody, the people that are in the story who are supposed to be from that part of the world, the Middle East and Africa, they look like they're from that part of the world. They didn't take a bunch of British actors with blonde hair and blue eyes and drop them in and pretend like they're first century Palestinian Jews. So they look the part. Except the Romans, they ain't from around there. I mean, they are Northern Italian, German, and Germanic, and so on. So I find that some little details about that I find good. Also, it's this. Particularly the character Nicodemus. He's a very sympathetic character. He's an older man, quite distinguished as a learned rabbi, teacher, but he sees that Mary Magdalene has been healed of her demonic possession, and he has to find out who did this, because he had seen her in that condition, and he says only God himself could heal that poor woman. So when he sees her cured, he's got to say, whoa, look at what happened. And he goes and he talks to Mary Magdalene, and he asks, who did this? How did it happen? She says, I don't know his name. All I know is I was one way before, and now I'm different, and he is the one that is in between. A very important scene in the series. And so you have the people who are seeking, but also very interesting who Jesus calls to follow him, and those who respond and those who don't. There are those who decline the invitation. We're going to go into details about that, and we don't have any spoilers for you, but it is quite good to watch. And so I highly recommend it. I usually don't do too much of that, but that's my little mini review of this first season, the first eight episodes, and looking forward to more, and hope that you are able to watch it and to enjoy it as much as I did. So if you want to know about it, it's hashtag The Chosen. We don't know if we can show any pictures of that in this video. We don't know we have no idea what's copyrighted and trademarked, so we don't want to get any trouble about that. So, but just simply hashtag The Chosen. Maybe do a search of it on your own, and you can start from there. So God bless you, and keep you safe.